Hey yo, they calling me a star. Watch up at Home Depot straight from sleeping in my car. Know who I'm becoming, give a fuck about who you are. Living kind of reckless, never ever disrespect us. No limbo, I set the bar. My vision is widescreen. Most of y'all just zoomed in. Green for TV, see. Most of y'all just tuned in. Lazy niggas prowling. Out here PT cruising. Learn to park the clans for my amusement. I've been headlining in cities that I never even been to. Colleges and festivals and venues that I've been through. Came to earn the place, see I got it cause the rent due. Text from my mother, hope you got the plate I sent you. Cause I only used to dream of shutting stages down. Elementary pen and pencil ripping pages out. Cruise for hours down the corridor, orator. Drop my head in class cause all my peoples kept on dropping out.
Hey, there you go. Welcome back to Hotspot TV. I'm Vidal Ekachuku and I'm here with Dutch ReBelle, a Boston born and bred rapper, and she's got a show coming up on Thursday, January 22nd at Brighton Music Hall. But just so we get you guys hyped about the show, we're going to tell you a little bit more, as usual, about this fantastic person who's got an amazing show. So, Boston hip hop, first of all, is Dutch your real name? Or is that your stage name?
It's not. Thank you. It's not actually, no. My name is Vonda, Vanda. So
Vonda.
when I was like growing up, the Von Dutch clothing line, like the trucker hats, that just started booming. And I was always like the girl wearing hats. Like I would wear my hair done, but I'd always have like a hat on. So they just started calling me Von Dutch. And then it turned into Dutch. And it just stuck.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah,
it's kind of one of those endearing things that just come in.
It is because a lot of people think it's for another reason, and I'm like, no, that's not why. Yeah. Like at all. So. And
then the ReBelle is just like rebel, but L like
yes,
her.
Exactly. Like I tell people like the Belle is the Haitian kind of like ode to Haiti, but it's the beautiful part. Like people make it seem like rebellion is like a bad thing, and it's not. It's like it's a different thing. So that's why I put it at the end. Like, once I decided to take music seriously, that's when I put ReBelle on it. So.
That's cool. Yeah. And you talked a little bit off camera about you being Haitian, and you see a few. I mean, whether it is Ace Hood or isn't Future Haitian? Or
yeah, some roots in him. Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, so you see a lot of Haitians in hip hop. Would you say? And even like Wyclef, right? Is there anything that's part of your Haitian culture that makes you a bit more inclined to do hip hop, or is just kind of something you grew up with, or just how did you get started with hip hop in general?
I absolutely think that there's like a little connection there, like with the Haitian people, but I think that's just because like their culture is very much rooted in music and telling stories through music. You know, like I grew up listening to my father's records, and they were all in like French. I don't speak French. Haitian Creole is not French, but you can somewhat understand. So, like, he would just kind of, like, translate songs for me. And I'm like, yo, that sounds dope. Like, but it's very simple. It was, like, very poetic. So, I feel like, you know, with that being said, you know, Haitian people, there's a lot of Dominican influences, Cuban, all that, too. So, I grew up in a house full of different type of music. Like, just as easy as my father would listen to something like Haitian or Cuban, he would listen to, like, Eric Clapton or whatever. So, it's definitely a big part. For me, I think that because of my culture, I can never be like standoffish to one type of music. That's like not our way. Like, that makes sense. Like, so, you know, because of that, I do feel like I'm open-minded. And everybody knows a Haitian. Like,
I was telling you, like, it's after Bugatti came out, I come looking for you. Hey, like, it's kind of changed.
And you're like, damn, I know that one Haitian has like 6,000 cousins. Like, and it's like, yeah, that's real. Like, so, but it's true. I have a big family. I will come looking for you.
That's very cool.
It's easy to do. But.
So let's use that as an opportunity to kind of transition to into talking about your music and your style of music. How would you characterize Dutch ReBelle's hip hop music as an art form?
I call it collage music.
Okay.
I call it collage music. My publishing company is called Collage Project, which is basically kind of what I mean. Like, I feel like I picked up on a lot of different types of, you know, experiences or other people's type of music, and I like to kind of like hear it, take it in, and then put it back out the way like I see it now, like put my own little touch on it. So, you know, I love like the classic, you know, hip hop, like the golden era hip hop, if you want to call it. But then I love like the old rock, soft rock, hard rock, even like all of that stuff. Reggae, I'm a big reggae fan, huge reggae fan, and I used to dance to like, you know, Haitian folklore parties and fundraisers. I used to dance to like soukous and like zouk and all that. So it's like, I want my music to sound like that. What a person who grew up on that would like. You know what I mean? So I like to put all the different influences, and I don't ever want somebody to get used to my sound. Like that's a good thing, and as far as like, you know, what type of artist you are, but I feel like there's too much dependency on that. Like, let our artists be artists and do what they want. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. But you don't change the artist. Like, so for me, I just want to make sure that, you know, I like to challenge people. Like, I bet you didn't like one of my songs on the project now is called No Less. It samples a No Doubt record.
I like that song.
For me, that's like easy.
The video's cool too.
Yeah, thank you. So, you know, and he's actually, Sebastian Films, he's gonna actually shoot the next one too. But
cool.
Yeah, so just doing stuff like that. It's like, you know, I met him. He lives in Pennsylvania, and like, you know, we clicked up over a record that was kind of like a mashup of different worlds, and that's what I like to do. Because if you come to Boston, it's kind of how it is.
Yeah.
And if you know any girl who's from a different island and then was raised here, like that's exactly what our music would sound like. So that's what I'm trying to create, and I won't say create, but make people more like comfortable with.
Yeah. I think you got it right on the head. I think variety is an extremely important part of any kind of artistic endeavor, because you see some people, like you say, get stuck into that one sound, and the producers, whether you, even if you look at someone like Mike Will, and people criticize DJ Mustard for not having a diverse sound, but if you listen hard enough, there's some different kind of things there, and even if it's working with other kinds of producers, so that's really smart that you do that. So how do you? One thing I've also noticed in successful artists who maybe don't produce for themselves, like whether it is a Drake or whoever, is they have a really solid team. Do you work with consistent producers, or do you kind of have, you're just trying to take from all different kinds of sounds?
I try to take from all different types of sounds. I mean, I have a few that, you know, I usually go to, like ATG or Mr. Light Up. LaChelle James has been, you know, holding it down for me lately. You know, a couple other people. But as far as like a solid team, I wouldn't say that, only because there's still room for more. Cool. I would say, because I like the challenge. Like I said, I like the challenge of somebody giving me a beat that they're like, I don't think you'll like this, and I'm like, I love it because I don't know what I'm gonna do with it yet, but I'm gonna do something with it, and that's the type of, you know, like I like to write to the beat. I can write without it, but I like to write to the beat, because to me it's like a play that I'm putting on. So you're giving me the stage, and I get to put whatever like script I want to it. You know what I mean? So I like to reach out to new production, younger kids, like some people who are like in the boom bap. I kind of like, you know, the way Kanye is, and how like he'll put two people together that would never think they work together. Like, that's the room I'm trying to be in. Like, because that's the point. Music, it's so repetitive. You know what I mean? If that's the case, then you got to kind of put enough elements together that it's like it's a different meal. Like, you know, you have different recipes. It's the same. You can make the same thing 30 different ways, but your flavor is your flavor, and that's what, to me, lasts. Like, that's what I remember. You know, there's certain songs like Gloria Estefan. Like, I have no idea how I found that, but I was like, yo, she's dope. Like, you know what I mean? And I feel like some people nowadays are scared to say like what they actually liked, as opposed to what they think everybody else is supposed to say they like. And I think that's corny. So
that's cool. I mean, I get the impression that it's gonna work tremendously in your favor. I think I see you succeed. I see you with a very long career ahead of you. I actually saw you perform at the Boston Hip Hop or Urban Music Festival this last summer, and you shut it down. You said you were doing. You really. I mean, I'm serious about this. You were definitely one of the better liked artists. People were turning up after the show. They were coming up trying to get pics and stuff. So people really recognized. So can you talk a little bit just about then Boston hip hop? Because one of the impressions I get is that, you know, you think of New York when you think of hip hop, you think of Chicago, LA, these kinds of places, but Boston's not always at the forefront of people's minds. So what would you say to people who say that, and how has Boston kind of been as a place for hip hop for you?
I feel like I used to say like Boston stuck in the 90s. I used to say that. I don't feel like that anymore from the past like 2-3 years, but it's definitely, stuck is not the right word. It makes it sound like it's bad, but we have love for the 90s era, like, and it's still very much there. And I think because the core of that essence was out here, like, so, you know, performance and people always having the ability to make music has always been in Boston. I feel like anybody in Boston who can rap a 1-2 when they used to, they can still do it, because it's still, it's a natural thing to us. So now though, because of a lot of like venues and a lot of you know, students that are like actually taking their knowledge and mix it into music, and radio personalities, and kind of just like how everything's been being you know, spread out to different channels and stuff, and people are kind of like, you know, I'm coming over this side and those people are coming over that side. Like, that's what's been changing Boston as of lately. It's kind of, you know, you can call it a renaissance in a sense, but like there is definitely a difference. Like people who are just fans of the music are now trying to like actually get into the industry side and learn more and travel more, which is the biggest thing for me. Like the names of Boston artists are getting out of Boston right now a lot more. And, you know, some people say like that's, you know, part of me and this, that, and the third, but I feel like, I mean, I appreciate it, but at the same time, like when I go out there though, I see the people who were movers and shakers of Massachusetts, and you just don't know that. And there are people there are connections there. There's just like a disconnect between I just think it's numbers, like it's strength in numbers. People are doing great things to advance the culture in Boston, but I also think that they underestimate how powerful they are. How powerful they are and how much they can influence, like if people are going to come to shows from different places to come out here, or if people are going to say like, no, I stand up for that artist, or if they're going to buy that merch or whatever. Like I feel like people really aren't as knowledgeable of how powerful they really are in the scene. Like they could change it. Like it's the difference between like I like that artist's music and like play this is my joint, why don't you have this? Like, and that shifts everything. Boston has that power because we got the schools, and we got the, you know, technology, and like and a lot of people in the industry, like all their finance people live in Boston.
Right.
like everybody lives out here, and that's so crazy to me.
That's the thing, when you started talking about the schools, sometimes people complain that in Boston there's a lot of people that come and then leave and go elsewhere and make their success, whether it is down south or out west or down in New York. And part of it might just be like, this is a very college and school town. People come here and get their education and bounce. So I think, and I'd be interested to hear what you think about how you can convince people to kind of stay and invest in Boston, and specifically Boston hip hop, right?
The only reason why I say it's numbers is because Boston still has that, like, well, my homie said it's cool, so it's cool mentality. Like, it's the influence. Like, I was actually just having a conversation with somebody about this at a show in Providence. Like, it's about influence. Like, it's you do need people to show up to these random showcases and events and make people feel like there's an event. Like, I think the number one thing is making people feel like everything that has to do with the music world is an event. Not just, oh, it's a show, or it's a showcase, or it's a release party. It's an event. Like, it's an event. People are supposed to feel like it's an event they're going to. Like, you know, me and Shea Rose have our show on the 22nd, and I'm telling people, like, they come because it's an experience. And people need to stop being like, yo, my boy raps, he's dope. Like, she's dope, you should listen. And be like, have you heard of this artist? Like, I don't need to tell you that's my homie, that's my friend, that's my cousin, that's my brother, sister. That's what happens in Boston because everybody knows each other. But if it's just like, you don't know this person? How do you not know this person? Why don't you? What's wrong with you? Like, how do you not? That's how we talk about everything else. But for some reason, which is what I say, they underestimate how powerful they are. You don't have to say, yo, this is my homegirl, she's dope. It's like, this is Dutch ReBelle. Listen to it.
So Boston, believe in yourself, believe in your power, basically.
Believe in your power. Like, if 50 of your friends, but you have to believe in your power to make the connection keep going. Like, if you're going to be the one to lead the committee, like, for your homie or whatever, like, you have to really convince your people to come. It's a dope event. I'm going. How are you not going? And then they go and more people come. And how can anybody outside of it deny that this person has 500 people standing in front of them with a minimal buzz or whatever you call a buzz? But it's there because, you know, we have like free ice cream parties in the middle of the commons and stuff like that. And people are like 3,000 deep with families and everything. And there are a lot of artists that are capable of rocking shows that way. But if you're not on the scene that way, you wouldn't know. I think that the influence heavily with media and, you know, things like this is going on, like media and the interviewing, that's great, but it really is just about going there. Boston, because of the colleges, that also means people like going to concerts. They like going to shows. They like going to festivals. It's really just being confident in your power. Like, you can, if you people are knocking down these venue doors, like, we want to do something here. We will pay for this. Like, if you pay $10 for someone's CD, but you like this artist, you have to understand how simple it is to pay $10 for that artist CD and be able to have all your favorite artists now in your area. Like, it's that type of power they don't get. But if you're not in the industry, you wouldn't know. It's about people telling them, like, people do need to stop leaving and just not coming back. that's corny. Like, that's just how I feel. I mean, that's just corny. You don't have to live here. It's not, you don't have a responsibility to teach people under you or anything like that. I don't think that's the case. I just think that it's the same thing. Like, do you know how much power you would have if you actually did that, but then came back and put yourself in a platform to be like the gatekeeper?
Yeah.
Like, how is that not a plus? Also? Like, you know, like that works to me. Like, so I'm very fortunate, and I'm super, super happy that I can go around, go to different places, and people like, yo, she's from Boston. Like, it's not she's from. They know I grew up in Milton. Like, everyone knows I lived in Milton, but they're gonna rep me as Boston because I've been around. I've been to different places. I've moved and shake with everybody, and it's not because I'm like, I'm trying to be down. It's like, here, you should hear this. You should think this is dope. Like, I used to run into like some of the projects and stuff and just rap for random people standing outside. It's very dangerous, but you know, I took a chance.
Your mom was probably like,
I was like, I'm just going and bum rushing people. Like, I would just roll up and bum rush people, and I would just say like, hey, I just want to rap for you for a minute and a half. If you don't like it, you can tell me go to hell. And that's it. It's just simple. People are scared. Like, they don't understand their power. Like, cause I know I'll risk it for this exchange of someone saying, yo, this girl was like going to different places and rapping, and then I just saw her on MTV the other day. That's the difference. Don't stop, but don't be confident in your power.
That's ill.
That's my theory.
You're absolutely right. I agree. You gotta believe in that power, and it's hard sometimes to get communities to invest into the people that are there, especially if it's not. If it already doesn't have that platform, you know what I mean? So let me ask you this. Do you do this full time? Is music your full-time hustle? Or do you work kind of to pay the bills and to get where you want to be?
It's so a little bit of both. Okay. You know what I mean? I would say that I do this full time. It's because everything that I'm doing right now is to fuel that. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like on paper, I manage a hair salon out in Malden actually for my hairstylist who does all my hair. So I just handle like the operation.
The hair's nice, so you're doing very well.
But yeah, shout out to K-Star. Yes, salon hair. Yes. But I am very much involved with like the community. Like, I love being able to like help anybody out the way I can, because some people do look up and they're like, how did you get here and there? So anywhere that I can just kind of put my experience in and help something out, like with with something like a salon, it's a natural hair salon, and that there's like people always come up to my hair and they're like, oh, you're always talking about my hair, and I'm like, man, listen, there's a lot of talented people out there. You just gotta like connect with them. But I like to, I always shout out to Black Roses. I always shout out Black Roses, which is just like a collection of females that I have that do like entertainment type things. And I try to support that as much as possible. I'm into fundraisers. Clothing Haiti is one that I rock with a lot. Also Correcto, which is like a family fundraiser. I try to stay involved with doing some of the background stuff with that. But ReBelle Music is me and Marquise, like we've launched that, so it's ReBelle Music LLC, High Publishing. So we've been working a lot with strengthening that, that's why I say it's a full-time job in that sense, because we handle our music distribution, we handle our booking, we handle our promotion, we handle our merchandising and everything like that. So
that's hard. I think some people underestimate how hard that is. And you ask. Then sometimes, you have the fans that say, oh, why does he want to go and get a deal? He should be independent and keep that grassroots hustle. But it's a lot to try and take care of all that stuff on your own. It is. It
definitely is. But I know, I strongly feel like it's worth it, because there's no, I say like, as soon as somebody tries to put me in a box, I'm going to blow up the box. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's my thing. I'll blow up the box. Like, it's just, I feel like what I am trying to do is a lot wider than what most people are trying to do in the industry right now. Like, I am very much about having different producers, working with different producers, and I want arenas, like I want stadiums, and I grew up on like I said, like a lot of Haitian, even African, like French musicians that I used to watch my parents like watch, and they're doing like 7 shows a year, like, and that's for like hundreds and thousands of people, and I would love to get to that point, but that is a completely there's no shortcuts for that. There's no easy pass lane. There's none of that. So I'm very happy with the way that I chose to take that path, only because like some people, who are doing it better than me, they're like, yo, keep doing what you're doing. Yeah. Like, all the fans, they're like, go get signed and this and that. And I'm like, well, if I sign myself, then I don't owe anybody anything. Yeah. And if I have I'll take the slower path for the bigger outcome any day. Any day. So
that's good. It sounds like you have a really good head on your shoulders, just in terms of your perspective towards the industry. Well, last couple of questions I want to ask you are, in as much as you know you got to put in that grind work, you got to put in that effort, are you approaching this with a specific strategy? Like, all right, I know projects are important, but also singles are important. Band singles are important. So I got to think about this sound. And how are you measuring your projects, and what metrics are you kind of saying, dang, that last video just got 10,000 views, that got 100. Like, what are you doing to kind of say, all right, I really am on the right track?
Right. For me, like, lately, basically, like, you know, I've been doing shows fewer because the caliber of the shows that I've been doing have been getting greater, bigger opportunities, you know, national opportunities, things like that. Obviously, you know, the rates are going up. That's always a good thing. That's you know what I mean? Like, that's going to happen. Yeah, like, you know, with doing the shows and doing features and also, and of course, you know, I gauge my progress just by how easier it is to get the things I need. Yeah. You know, I have certain producers like, hey, I want to give you beats. To me, that's good. Like certain artists like, oh, no, send me whatever you want. Yeah. Like, that's great. And then, of course, the shows, you know, it's you know, you start by looking for shows, and then now it's like, wait, I can't do this one because I have this one, and then I can't, you know what I mean? So success is different to everybody. I say that at any time. People are like, you know, what do you define success? Every day I experience something new that changes what that means. So I'm not even going to try to figure it out. Like, but, you know, as far as like strategy, when I did Married to the Music, you know, I basically tried to do as many records as possible and then go and pick them. Yeah. When I did ReBelle Diaries, I kind of crafted the project as I went along. It was almost like this song is going to go in that category. So now, you know, I'm all about testing my artistry. Yeah. So now that I've gotten a lot more different looks from different producers, different markets are like, hey, I know that girl, or, you know, that's opening doors to different things. So now my new challenge for myself is working on multiple projects at one time. Okay. And that's only because it's like a book. It's like book writing. Yeah. Like, you can be writing multiple things at one time. You just have to know the overall of what you're trying to do. That's how I approach myself. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like, I have concepts for different projects, but I have to create that song, or I'll hear the one record and I'm like, this is gonna go on that project. Yeah. I know that it's gonna go there. It sounds like there to me. Yeah. I'm all like in here spacey and blah blah blah. So like, but with that, that's how you kind of gauge if people are picking up, because I'm not. You know, my goal is it's never going to be like, oh, because this person reached out and said, I want to work with you. It's more so going to be like, all right, the crowds are getting bigger. Yeah. I'm selling more CDs at the shows. Yeah. You know, my outreach is growing, because that's what it is. Like, a lot of people contact me all the time and tell me that they love what I'm doing, and they support, and they listen to this and they listen to that. And it really is just about, for me, like, earning my place, not as someone who can work with certain people, but someone who people want to work with me because they appreciate how I'm moving and how I'm doing it. I don't want to it's not just rap for me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I want to work with Gwen Stefani. Like, I want to work with, you know, the girl, Twigs, formerly known as Twigs, is one artist. Like, those type of people that's what I'm trying to do. So I can't even set like a goal. It's just like, I'm busy. Like, I have a list of things I'm trying to get done, and that's as far as I try to put it. Because for me, it's still fun. Like, people think I've been doing this for like 10 years or something like that. I've been doing it for 3 years. 3 years. That's impressive. I'm 3 years in. How old are you? If you I'm 27. 27. Okay. Yes, but I'm 3 years in. Yeah. So it's like, do you know how much stuff I want to do? Like, that I feel like I want to have I want to play with and try and things like that. And I'm fortunate enough to have got the attention of certain people. I'm 3 years in. That's ill. You know, so it's like, I still want to challenge sounds and content and all that. I have nowhere near shown anybody everything. I put 2.5 projects out. Yeah. So, you know, it's definitely. I like that people are like, you're doing so well. What's gonna happen here? And it's like, focus on, like, enjoy this. Yeah. Enjoy this. That's good. Enjoy this moment here. I have like 3 videos out from ReBelle Diaries, and I know people are still asking for more visuals. That's why I'm going to shoot 2 more, and I'm working on the next project. But I am sure that I'll still be doing promotion for ReBelle Diaries when I'm working on the next project. Wow. Like, that's what I'm going for. Projects is come and go, and my project is still, you know, running its course, and that's what it should be. Like, I should be able to put a whole visual album out if I wanted to, like, but that's because I'm into the theater side and I'm into the creative side. So.
And these days you kind of have to be.
Yeah.
All right. This is really interesting, and I have a lot more questions, but I'm going to try and wrap it up in just 2 more because I really want to make sure, especially because you're here, that I get your perspective on this. So first one, I was having this conversation, I did an interview earlier with this bodybuilder, or fitness model, who's a female. And you talk about the whole idea of prefixing whatever you do with a female if it's in a male-dominated domain or genre industry. So do you think of yourself as a rapper, as a female rapper? How do you feel when people approach you as a female rapper? And I mean, whether you look at, there are female rappers that are winning out here, and that'll kind of segue into another question. But talk about that, just what it means to be a female in rap right now for you.
I think that it's a good time right now because I don't hide from being a female rapper. I am a rapper that is female. Yes, I am. It's like, I had a conversation with someone that put that in perspective, like, WNBA. You're a female basketball player. It's not taking away. It's just that it's something that's not common. You embrace that. And I embrace that I am a female rapper. But my thing is, if I'm going to have a problem with the female part, then I'll have a problem with the rapper part too. Because either way, it's a label. I'm an artist that just so happens to be female. I like that way to see it better. And I don't take the female part out because it's a different perspective. It is. I mean, we as females are kind of on a different side of things sometimes. Like, every girl is someone's sister or girlfriend or aunt or mother or whatever the case may be. So we have, our perspectives, and there's certain things that men don't deal with. You don't deal with cramps and such. You don't deal with when your heel gets stuck in the grate when you're trying to be cute, and you don't deal with your hair and you falling asleep in your makeup and having to get I don't walk around like I'm a female rapper, but I definitely make sure that people, when I'm doing my music and I paint the picture, that they see the difference through my music, though. When I talk about getting dressed, washing up at Home Depot straight from sleeping in my car, understand, a guy can do that, go, take a piss, change his shirt, whatever, and it's nothing. Like, as a woman, I have to wash myself. I need to do things. You guys need to go over there so I can be by myself and put my makeup on and still have to do this and all of that. And I'm not going to sit there and say, my makeup and blah, blah, blah. No, it's just like, me and you don't get ready in the same amount of time. Don't talk to me about getting ready in a rush. Ever. You know what I mean? Like, those type of
wise words for the guys listening.
It's those type of things. Like, why don't you just throw something on? And I'm like, everyone around me, I'm like, why don't you just, don't say that string of words around me. You say it's so simple. So apparently I don't know what the hell I'm doing because I haven't figured it out yet. Like, it's not a why don't you just situation ever with the female. So for that reason, in any case, it's never a why don't you just ever when it comes to a female. Why don't you just pick the food spot? No, it's not that simple. And that's just what it is. And I feel like that's missing in the game. Like, I don't have to sit there and be like, my boy and my boo, and this is always like the same thing. It's like I hate him, I can't breathe, I love him so much, or I can't breathe because I miss him so much. And that's like it. With Recline, for example, one of the records on my project. It's about me being with the guy. He had a hard day. I'm like, hey, come ride with me, throw the seat and recline. That's like the ultimate, I'm good for the day. I'm in the passenger seat and whoever I'm with was just riding around chilling. I could be intimate or not. I have friends that I'll be like, yo, you had a rough day. I'm going to come scoop you and just run my errands with me. Like, that perspective of the homie, the female homie, that's not, it's like we just skipped everything and just made everything love or not. And I just think that's corny.
But you're absolutely right. The diversity and the creativity is important. I think that what it may be is that sometimes it's not the shortest path, right? You can make a record about turning up and whatever and some of these other kind of more generic things you've got, and just because people are kind of used to hearing it, maybe they gravitate towards it first. But I think if you look at they're the biggest artists, whether it is your Jays or your M's or your Kanye's or your Big and Tupac, these people gave you that intimate story, but just could rap it in a way that's digestible. So that's very important.
Absolutely.
So, and the other thing I would say is that maybe the reason why creativity and diversity isn't done as much and you don't hear it as soon is because it's not necessarily rewarded. Like, you take a look kind of at, for instance, the Grammy nominations this year and consistently every year, and especially last year, and in hip hop and what that meant. So sometimes it gives you the impression like, well, dang, like the dopest guy out here isn't winning the awards. Like, what am I supposed to do? You know, he's not even nominated. I can name 3 hip hop albums that should have been nominated this year. So, how do you look at? Let's talk about the Grammys. Mm-hmm. How do you look at awards? Is that kind of secondary to you, or is that something that, you know what, I would love to do that, I just got to figure out how to get there and still kind of maintain my integrity?
Awards and things like that, I mean, I'm not as caught up into stuff like that, because I know that there are people who have not ever received those awards and flourish. Mm-hmm. So that's obviously not the end-all be-all, but only because I was a journalism major. Yeah. I would like a Grammy. Yeah. I would like that.
Interesting.
Only because it's like getting, you know, the high, right? Exactly. Like a Pulitzer Award in journalism. Mm-hmm. It's almost like, okay, well, it's like getting a Grammy in music, because I'm still a writer. I'm still very much a writer. If I got a Grammy for songwriting or something like that, I'd be like, cool. But other than that, I don't care. Because again, I make music for myself. Yeah. It just so happens that people associate with my music, or they connect with, or feel as though I'm speaking for them in my music. So I make music I make music professionally for the people, not for the awards. And for that, it's for the people, because they're the ones that, if the whole industry crashes tomorrow, like, the people who were your friends they're the ones who can have the power to rebuild you or not. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I'm not as caught up in that. I'm really just all about the experiences. Like, that's good. A lot of the awards that I'm grateful, you know, for the awards that I've won, but my main thing has always been like just being in that room. Yeah. And knowing that, you know, all it does is leverage to me. Yeah. I mean, that's just how I feel about it, honestly. I'm like, It's just leverage. It's just like, it's like a diploma. Like, I went to college, you know what I mean? So awards to me are like certificates and diplomas and such. It's like, that's not the point. The point is what I'm doing and what I'm learning and being able to do it. Yeah. But the point is not to get the award. Yeah. It's because that's like my dad. Like, he's be like, Dad, I got all A's. He's like, and the alternative was what? And I'm like, like, I grew up like that. Like, you don't get pats on the back for doing your job. So getting a Grammy, that's just a matter of opinion. And I respect it. Yeah. I respect the honor. But that's because of historical stuff and all of that. But as far as, like, does that mean you're a good artist? Yeah. I
feel that. And that's a really nice, modern, balanced approach to it. What do you think, then, of, like, and this has kind of just been in the conversation just because it is hip-hop and Grammy season and stuff, and, like, female rappers, but how do you feel about sort of Iggy Azalea and this last year she's had and the attention she's been getting and animosity versus support and things like that?
In her situation? Yeah. Iggy got some dope records. Yeah. And then other than that, I think that her PR team is shit.
Oh, where?
Because she just needs to stop talking.
Really? Why do you say that?
Only because, and I don't usually dime in on, like, female artists and all that, because it's none of my business. But in a business situation, it's like the only issue that I have is you are in hip hop. Mm-hmm. If you're claiming hip hop, then you have to have that essence. So if you're gonna talk in your music. If you, because you can't do, you know, you can't ride the line. Like, there's a lot of, we're in a bad time right now for your It sucks. Like, I think it's crap that people are attacking her as if she's like the white devil or something. It's like she's making her money, she's doing her music. Like, she has her like, you can't knock her fans that come and show up for her. You can't do that. So that's corny to me. But, like, that's my only advice. Like, Iggy, just stop. Don't. Just talk in your music or pop off. Unfortunately, that's just the reality. Like, you either tell people, like, stand up for yourself in that way, like, yo, I do what I want because it's hip hop, like, that's because that's what you're claiming, or just stop talking about it. Because it's just probably best to not.
Sometimes silence is the best, you know.
In this situation, yes, only because, like I said, I mean, I'm never going to give an opportunity to somebody to speak for me if it comes to something that's my character. You know what I mean? Like, people are attacking your character, and that's, you don't have to owe them anything, but you keep doing it. You keep saying stuff. Like, let your music and your numbers and all of that speak for you if you're not that type, if you're not about that life. I guess if you're not about that life in hip-hop, you need more people, as Hope would say. Like, you gotta chill. Like, you gotta chill. Like, or because I believe she has the personality of being like, get out of my face. One time is cool. You could do that. It might help your situation. But if it's just I don't understand why people are making it this and making it that. love. It's hip hop. There's no filter, and
yeah.
you can't pretty it up.
Yeah.
You know, it's just not. It's not the reality. You have to be realistic.
Yeah.
That's my thing. You just have to be realistic. But I'm not your PR. I'm
Yeah.
just saying from a PR perspective.
Chill.
Just until the project drops.
Man.
Until the project drops.
Yeah.
Then cook. Like
Yeah.
you'll be fine. Just chill with the. Don't.
Well, there you go. Sound the best Iggy's team. Maybe chill a little bit.
Chill. Don't come holler at me and I'll talk to whoever you need to talk to. Like, but just drop the project and stunt. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Just drop the project and stunt.
There you go.
Do your thing, girl.
All right. Well, thank you so much again, Dutch.
Thank you.
You guys be sure to come check her out at Brighton Music Hall on Thursday, January 22nd.
Yes, sir. 18 plus.
18 plus with
18 plus.
Shay Rose, right?
Shay Rose, yes. Shout out to the goddess Shay Rose.
Yeah. So tell them where they can find you on the internet, your website, your social
Yes.
media, all that.
DutchReBelle.com, DutchReBelle.com, ReBelle, if you're not as hooked on phonics. And Dutch Rebelle FN on the Twitter, Dutch Rebelle Instagram, just Dutch Rebelle everything.
There you go.
Holler at me, stalk me so I know it's real.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank
You
so
are
much.
beautiful. You're amazing. You're intelligent,
Thank
and
you.
I wish you the biggest success.
Thank you. Thanks for the chocolate.
No problem. Just shipping out some chocolate earlier. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time. All right. Take it easy.